with 3 weeks of the flu. Does anyone else here have? Let's give it up for the flu. Yeah. Let's give it up for nausea and vomiting. I didn't hear as much. Well, I guess I already ripped the Band-Aid off there. Because what I was going to do is rip the Band-Aid off by telling all of you guys that I made out for several months with a pair of underpants. I mean, like, not on somebody, just sort of a pair of underpants in my bed, kissing them, hugging them, loving on them, caressing them. A lot of you might think I'm weird right now. But I just want to say that there are probably tens of thousands of Japanese men who are on board with me about underpants because they buy them from vending machines. I mean, it goes back, you know, all the way to the beginning of time, like the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve. Our obsession with underpants, as far as I can see. Like, okay, so Adam and Eve, right? Like, I'm gonna walk around a little bit. If I throw up, I throw up. So, Adam and Eve, you know, they're walking around and they're comfortable with themselves, you know. Adam's like swinging, you know, and Eve's got like purring, you know, and they're just like, you know, touching each other and groping and jiggling and looking and licking. That's great. Imagine that. And then they have to eat from the fucking tree of knowledge and talk to frickin' snakes that speak. And God punishes them with shame. And their sentence is, by the way, underpants. Because now they have to cover up. And at that time, there's no, you know, silk or satin, lace, organic cotton. And there's nobody from Outward Bound who's like, oh, you just fashion it from twigs and leaves. There's nobody there telling them how to do it. But they popped out a bunch of babes, and one of them became a fashion designer and started the first Project Runway in the Garden of Eden. This is actually in the Bible. I learned the Bible all the way through day school, Jewish day school, and this is in Hebrew, okay? It's in Hebrew. So that's how Project Runway people got the idea. It's from the Bible. So it was, what does that go? It goes, that guy is British, right? He goes, theme, and he's very effete. Theme, underpants, materials, flora, dirt, and spittle. Deadline, until we get kicked out. And since then, you know, gosh, I mean, Victoria's Secret, multi-billion-dollar business. Clinton, didn't they ask him on MTV what he preferred? And he's like, mostly briefs. And we knew at that time that Monica was a briefs girl. And Hillary was a boxer's chick. And that was the reason. Let's bring us to the underpants in question. Like these soft cotton boxer briefs, the best of both worlds. Gray with little blue triangles, about a decade old. And they were left behind when he left me. Oh, he. Let's call him Goldie. Why? Because of his caramel-colored crown. I'm going to do some alliteration here. Caramel-colored crown, saffron stubble, hay-hewn hairy chest, lemon meringue legs, long legs, and peach pie pubis. Yes, I wanted to eat him. But he didn't want to eat me. So man, they smelled really good in the beginning because I'd wash them with grapefruit detergent, hypoallergenic, because I never ever wanted him to be irritated. And, you know, the more I pawed at them and caressed them and touched them and felt them up against my body and heard them say I love you to me, and took them to the movies with my purse, talked about science with them, and they listened. They started to smell like a decade's worth of emanations, dead skin cells, sweat, pheromones, and that odor wafted up into my brain and hit, what is that, the limbic system, where oxytocin is created, and I fell in love. I fell in love with the Underpants. They waited for me every single day. They were waiting for me when I got home. They were the best boyfriend I ever had. Like I said, they listened to me. They never complained about their childhood. They never tried to get me to go to a 12-step program. They never asked me to marry them and then 3 days later said that they didn't have deep intimacy skills. Yeah, I was a little worried about myself. So I did what most of us do when we are. I looked it up on the World Wide Web. And, okay, this is the interesting thing. Well, there's a lot of interesting things here, but this is one of them. Okay, there's this concept called transitional object. Many of you have probably heard of it, like the blankies that little kids have when they're infants. And it's like a really, really healthy thing because it brings them from this dependence and this like interlocking identity, well, that feels good, with their parents, into sort of an independent growth state towards, I don't know, being who they are. And in fact, people who have blankies as adults who've kept them rate higher on independence in research scales than people who don't. So yeah, the Underpants were my blankie. Okay, let's fast forward a few months. So I'm cleaning up my place, and I see the Underpants sitting there, crumpled, left, abandoned. I have done to them what he did to me, Goldie, you know, saffron-stubbled Goldie. And I sit on the futon, I feel terrible. And I look at them, and they just look back at me. They don't seek my love or my admiration. They don't try to get me to tell them why I abandoned them. They don't try to get anything from me. They just are who they are, ugly and smelly. And I think in that moment, what if all of us are just transitional objects in each other's lives, bringing us from some kind of state of dependence and grossness to independence and actualization. We just all are a pair of dirty, smelly underpants. Wow. Fuck yeah. And we can just feel pretty fucking grateful that we were worn and caressed and loved. That's what I gotta say, and I didn't throw up.